Germany's Scholz urges Russia to ease grain exports. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is urging Russia to ease the global food crisis by helping to facilitate grain shipments from blockaded Ukrainian ports. "You have to hope for the world's sake that an agreement is reached," Scholz told the news agency, referring to continuing negotiations about establishing an export corridor across the Black Sea. Russia must enable safe passage and at the same time give credible assurances that it will not use the corridor for an invasion, he told BA. Prepare for the long haul, UK Prime Minister Johnson. UK Prime Minister Johnson has warned allies to prepare for a long war in Ukraine, urging sustained support for Kyiv or risk the greatest victory for aggression since World War II. In an article for the Sunday Times, Johnson said Ukraine's foreign backers should hold their nerve to ensure it has the strategic endurance to survive and eventually prevail. "Time is now the vital factor," Johnson wrote in a 1,000-word article posted online on Saturday night. "Everything will depend on whether Ukraine can strengthen its ability to defend its soil faster than Russia can renew its capacity to attack. Our task is to enlist time on Ukraine's side." Zelensky visits Odessa. Ukraine's President Zelensky has inspected a building in Odessa damaged by a Russian missile attack that killed 8 people. The Ukrainian leader wrote in his Telegram channel that among those killed included a 3-month-old baby, calling it a terrible crime for which there are no excuses. Ukraine, Russia trying to stay on offensive around Kharkiv, other cities. The spokesman of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine says Russian forces were actively on the offensive across Kharkiv, Severodonetsk, and Slavyansk. Oleksandr Shtupun said that the Russian military had used artillery shelling across various settlements towards Kharkiv. He added that Russians used mortars, artillery and rocket-propelled grenade launchers against various settlements in the direction of Slavyansk. Meanwhile in Severodonetsk, the enemy continues to fire from artillery and rocket artillery in the areas of the settlements of Metalkine, Bila Ora and Ustynovka, Shtupun said. Russian missiles destroy fuel depot in eastern Ukrainian town. Official. 3 Russian missiles destroyed a fuel storage depot in the eastern Ukrainian town of Novomoskovsk, sending 3 people to hospital, the head of the regional administration has said in an online message. Valentin Reznichenko posted a picture of what he said was a large blaze at the depot. Al Jazeera could not independently verify the official's claims. Missiles hit gasworks in eastern Ukraine, Governor. Several Russian missiles hit a gasworks in the Izium district in eastern Ukraine, Kharkiv region. Governor Oleh Syniehubov has said. A large-scale fire broke out, rescuers localized the fire, Syniehubov wrote on the Telegram messaging app, adding that some other buildings had also been damaged. Blastovsk area near Ukrainian city of Severodonetsk, separatists. A big explosion rocked an area near the besieged Ukrainian city of Severodonetsk and a large orange-colored cloud could be seen rising into the air, a Russian-backed representative has said. Rodion Miroshnik, an official in the self-styled separatist administration of the Luhansk People's Republic, posted a video of what he said was the cloud on the Telegram messaging app. Al Jazeera could not independently verify the official's claims. Russia sending large number of reserve troops to Severodonetsk, Ukrainian governor. Russia is sending a large number of reserve troops to Severodonetsk from other battle zones to try to gain full control of the frontline eastern city, the governor of Ukraine's Luhansk region has said. Today, tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow, they will throw in all the reserves they have, because there are so many of them there already, they're at critical mass, Luhansk Regional Governor Serhiy Haidai said on national television. Al Jazeera could not independently verify the official's claims. 5 civilians return in prisoner swap with Russia, Ukraine. Ukraine's Defense Intelligence Directorate has said 5 Ukrainian civilians had been returned in a 5-for-5 prisoner swap with Russia. It did not say whether the exchanged Russians were combatants. The directorate said 4 of the 5 Ukrainian civilians had been taken prisoner during Russia's occupation of parts of Kyiv region, from where Russian forces withdrew at the end of March. sanctions on goods to Russian city to take effect today, Lithuania. Lithuanian authorities say a ban on the transit through their territory to the Russian enclave of Kaliningrad of goods that are subject to EU sanctions will take effect from Saturday. The EU sanctions list notably includes coal, metals, construction materials and advanced technology, and the ban would cover about 50% of the items that Kaliningrad imports, the region's governor Anton Alekhanov said. Miners rescued after being trapped underground. Pro-Russia separatists. 77 miners have been rescued after being trapped underground during a power outage and shelling of territory controlled by pro-Russian separatists in eastern Ukraine, local officials said. The miners were underground when power was lost in the Zasyadko coal mine in Ukraine's Donetsk region, but all were now safe and no one was injured, according to a statement by local separatist officials. Al Jazeera could not independently verify the claims of the separatists. EU says Russia putting world in danger of famine. Russia is putting the world at risk of famine through its blockade of Ukraine's shipments of grains and restrictions on its own exports, EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell has said. Russia's conscious political choice is to weaponize grain exports and use them as a tool for blackmail against anyone that opposes its aggression in Ukraine, Borrell said in an article published on his official blog. The threat to food security and a battle of narrative with Russia on Western imposed sanctions on Moscow over Ukraine will dominate European Union foreign ministers' talks in Luxembourg on Monday. Zelensky pays first visit to South Ukraine's war-damaged Mykolaiv. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has visited the war-damaged southern city of Mykolaiv for the first time since the Russian invasion in a rare trip outside Kyiv. Zelensky's office published a video of him looking at a badly damaged high-rise residential building in the city and holding a meeting with local officials. British PM says Ukraine deserves to host Eurovision. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has said he hopes Ukraine will be able to host next year's Eurovision Song Contest, saying the country's people deserve to have it. The Ukrainians won the Eurovision Song Contest. I know we had a fantastic entry. I know we came second and I'd love it to be in this country, Johnson said. The European Broadcasting Union, EBU, has ruled it could not go ahead in the war-torn country as planned and instead offered the chance to the UK. But the fact is that they won and they deserve to have it. I believe that they can have it and I believe that they should have it, Johnson said. Ukrainians bid farewell to activist killed in war. Hundreds of Ukrainians have gathered at a central Kyiv monastery for the funeral of a 24-year-old activist killed during fighting with Russian forces in eastern Ukraine. Roman Ratushny, a well-known figure of Ukraine's 2014 pro-EU revolution, was killed on June 9 near Izium in the eastern Kharkiv region. Mourners attended his funeral at the Golden Dome St. Michael's Monastery. Fierce battles outside Ukraine's Severodonetsk, Governor. Ukrainian authorities say that fierce battles with Russia are raging in villages outside the eastern city of Severodonetsk, which Moscow's forces have been trying to seize control of for weeks. Now the most fierce battles are near Severodonetsk. They, Russia, do not control the city entirely, the governor of the eastern Luhansk region, Sergei Haidai, said on Telegram. In nearby villages there are very difficult fights, in Toshkivska, Zolote. They are trying to break through but failing, he said. Our defenders are fighting Russians in all directions. Recently, they shot down a plane and took captives. He added that Lysychansk, a Ukrainian-controlled city across a river from battered Severodonetsk, was being heavily shelled. UK must keep up support for Kyiv amid Ukraine fatigue, Johnson. It is important the UK continues to show it is supporting Ukraine for the long haul, Prime Minister Boris Johnson has said, warning of the risk of Ukraine fatigue as the war drags on. The Russians are grinding forward inch by inch and it is vital for us to show what we know to be true, which is that Ukraine can win and will win, Johnson told reporters on his arrival back in the UK from a visit to Kyiv. Some members of his Conservative Party had criticized him for making the trip instead of attending a conference in northern England. When Ukraine fatigue is setting in, It is very important to show that we are with them for the long haul and we are giving them the strategic resilience that they need, Johnson said. Ukraine planning to resume peace talks with Russia in August. Ukraine plans to resume peace talks with Russia by the end of August, when counterattack operations have been carried out. The country will be in a better position to negotiate, Kyiv's chief negotiator David Arakhamia told an interview with U.S. broadcasters Voice of America. He believes Ukraine will conduct an operation with counterattacks in different places, he said without giving details. Shelling traps 77 miners in Donetsk region. RIA shelling has trapped 77 miners in a coal mine in the Donetsk region of eastern Ukraine after power to the mine was cut off, Russia's state RIA news agency has reported. As a result of shelling by Ukrainian forces, power to the Zasyadko mine in Donetsk was cut off. 77 miners remain underground, RIA said, citing the Russian-backed separatist region's territorial defense. There was no immediate reaction from Kyiv. Ukraine routinely denies carrying out any attacks on the two regions that comprise the Donbas, the self-styled Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics, where separatists seized large swaths of land in 2014. Russian state TV airs videos of two missing Americans in Ukraine. A Russian state TV channel has aired videos on social media of two Americans who went missing last week while fighting alongside the Ukrainian army, stating they had been captured by Russian forces. United States President Joe Biden had said on Friday he did not know the whereabouts of Alexander Drueke and Andy Wein, both U.S. military veterans. "Mom, I just want to let you know that I'm alive and I hope to be back home as soon as I can be," Drueke said in a video posted by Russian journalist Roman Kozyrev, who works with RT Channel, on messaging platform Telegram. The missing Americans, including a third identified as a former U.S. Marines captain, are believed to be part of an unknown number of mostly military veterans who have joined other foreigners to volunteer alongside Ukrainian troops.